I feel an urgency to share part of my testimony. I saw a sister share her life of living as a hypocritical Christian, on her thinking she's going to heaven, but she was on her way to hell. I have such a similar testimony, but I want to share one experience that I had in 2015 that kind of started to change everything for me and gave me the biggest wake-up call about my deception, living in sin as a Christian, thinking I'm going to heaven the whole time. I was completely convinced, but the Lord revealing to me I was on my way to hell. And I was shocked, okay, as a Christian. All right, so I want to make it quick. I don't want this to be very long, but it's really important. And I just think too many people don't understand the seriousness of thinking you can live in a lifestyle of unrepentant sin and think you're still going to heaven, because it's such a big deception from the enemy. So I came to Christ in the year 1994. Now there's so many things to add, but I won't right now. And the point, even though I had a real encounter with Christ, okay, a powerful experience with Jesus, my lifestyle of sin never ever changed. All those years I lived for the world. I had such a zeal for Jesus. Okay, everyone knew I was a Christian, but I never, zeal is good, but if it doesn't have wisdom with it or the fear of the Lord with it, it's destruction. There was even fruit, okay? So I was really like, from most people would look at me and say, she's really on fire for Jesus. But my lifestyle did not show that, okay? And I was a horrible witness to my family and everyone around me. So as I lived like that, okay, so I was addicted to drugs. I was a blackout drinker. Like, I was a really bad drunk for years and years and years. Addicted to all kinds of drugs through those years, okay? So this is like a 25-year period. Now I'm going to fast forward to the year 2015. By this point, I was full-blown addicted to opiate pain pills, prescription opiate pain pills. Now, like I said, everyone knew I was a Christian, right? I was still interested in the things of God. I still watched, Christian YouTube videos. I did all those things. So one day I was watching a pastor. I can't remember who he was, but he was preaching on, and I'm going to read this, Revelation 21 verse 8. I'm going to start in 7, and it reads, "He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son." Verse 8, "But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." So when he read that, he started talking about sorcery and what that means. And it means, in modern day, it means pharmakia, and it has to do with being addicted to, prescription drugs. Now, please don't mince my words. I'm not talking about heart medicine, diabetes medicine. No. I'm talking about what I was addicted to, and it was opiate pain pills. It has its place if you have surgery or something like that. We're blessed to have that family of drugs, but it's not meant for daily use, because we will be addicted. And I had an addicted personality my whole life. I was always on something, and at that stage in my life, that was my drug I was addicted. So when that pastor read that and started talking about sorcery and what it really meant with the drugs, because I had no idea, I never heard the word pharmakia, none of that at that point. And I was convicted, I think, for one of the first times in all those years. And I knew that was about me, okay? I knew that I was guilty, but I still couldn't quite believe it. So I said a prayer and I prayed a very simple prayer to the Lord. And I just said, Lord, is what he's saying, that pastor is saying, if that's true, does that mean I'm going to hell if I died right now? And that's all I said. That night now, I was laying in bed on my back, and it was bedtime, but I wasn't sleeping yet. I was fully awake, and my fingers, I started getting this really strange tingly sensation through my fingers up in my arms, and it was just like the most foreign, weird feeling, but I knew something was terribly wrong. Like, it was very wrong, okay? And a few things crossed my mind, like, oh, I think I'm having a heart attack, because my dad had died young of a heart attack. His dad had died young, so I'm thinking, oh, I must be having a heart attack, because I knew I was dying. Like, I just had a, you instinctively know that. But so I sit up, okay? I start to sit up, and I look behind me on my pillow, and my body is laying there still. I didn't even catch what was all happening. It happened so fast. And I can see my head on the pillow, and my face is bloody though. Like, you can't even recognize that it's me. I'm not sure exactly what that meant, but I was dead. I was dead laying there, and now my spirit was coming out of my body, but I didn't realize that's what was happening at first. So I start to feel this suction like a vacuum, and it was pulling me up to where my ceiling fan was. And if I can explain, I don't have any, I just can't put this into words, like in human terms. There's no way to fully describe the terror that I felt. But it was coming from this, it was like a black presence, but it was kind of like a cloud, kind of misty, but it was like a black energy almost. But it was swirling around where my ceiling fan is, and I know now it was like a portal, but this presence, like a vacuum, out of my, I had no power over this, was sucking my soul, my spirit, to this portal, okay? And the feeling was terror on a degree I can't put into words. I mean, I knew it was fully supernatural. It wasn't like anything we have ever felt in our flesh. You can't even compare it. It's completely different. It's completely otherworldly, okay? So I'm kind of hovering as I'm going up, and a few things cross my mind real quick, like I realize I've died, I'm dead. Okay, I realized that my mom and daughter are going to find my body the next morning, and they're not going to know where I am, because they're going to think I'm in heaven, but I'm not going to heaven, okay? And then I thought, wait a minute, it occurred to me, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. Where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? I really started thinking this. I start yelling, Jesus, Jesus, where is he? Like, I knew he was not coming for me. Okay, and I was being sucked into the portal to hell. And as I continued to cry out for Jesus, I was back in my body. Like, it happened really quick, and I felt like I was up by the ceiling fan, and then my soul went back in my body, or my spirit, and I just was like, what just happened? I immediately knew the Lord had answered my prayer from earlier, that he was showing me because of my addiction, I would not be going to heaven. Now, the scariest thing was that I was fully convinced up until that point I was on my way to heaven. And when that was happening to me, I was shocked, okay? That's the only word I can say. I was absolutely shocked that I was not going to heaven. Once saved, always saved is not real. It's a false doctrine. We can absolutely depart the faith. If you are living in sin, you will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. Repent today and call out on Jesus. He's merciful. He gives us his grace to overcome. But don't be foolish with your salvation. Please, I beg of you. Please take this warning seriously. Take it so seriously.